Hello guys, welcome to Late Night Frights. This is the Thejslone or Jordan back here to do another movie review for you. As you guys know, this week we are doing our horrible horror theme, and if you guys don't know what that is, if you haven't seen the other videos, that is where each of us will be reviewing or have reviewed. I'm the only person left to do a review, but have reviewed a film that they think is just a horrible horror film. Before I start, I want to apologize for something. Our guy that we usually have on Thursdays, Zach, aka Monster Match 339, was unable to make his video, so I just didn't know if anybody was wondering, our schedule was whacked or what was going on, but he couldn't make his video, so yeah. So let's get on with this. First, another thing I want to say. This is completely opinionated. This is my opinion only, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be arguing with this. There might be 10%, maybe 5% of people in the world that like this movie. If that, I don't know. It's just considered by most in there as the top 5 worst horror movies, and I can definitely see that. And that is Leprechaun 4 in Space. Now, I absolutely love Part 1 and Part 3. I liked Part 2, but it wasn't my favorite. But I really loved Part 1, Part 3, and I enjoyed Part 2 as well. So we get Part 4, and the director seems like, I don't know, if obviously he had one too many to drink when he wrote this, or when whoever wrote the fucking script and decided let's put a leprechaun in space, because that's a bright idea, because it worked so well for Jason X when we put him in space, which obviously the same director and stuff didn't put, but I mean, if you put a horror icon in space, that's the lowest of the low, man. That's like, no horror fan wants to see that. It is financially a bad decision. I mean, it's just a bad decision all around. Horror fans do not want to see their horror icons, their killers, in space with aliens and shit and all this stuff revolving around it. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see, like a town, like a suburban kind of town, like Halloween, or we want to see a raunchy, like fucking deep backwoods shit like Texas Chainsaw. We don't want to see space in a slasher, a supposedly creature/slasher film. It's just not something anybody wants to see. And by the way, this is a review / rant, in case you haven't already noticed. It's a bad movie. I mean, this really is where the Leprechaun series went downhill, because the first 3, like I said, were really good. Love the first 3, I do. But I think the series would have been a bigger hit, and I think it would have had, I had better hope for it if they would have kept something that had the same vibe as the first 3 and not did this shit. And right after this movie, when they had a chance to redeem themselves, they make Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which were awful as well. I didn't like either of those. So they just made 3 shitty sequels back to back. And they really fucked Leprechaun, because if you noticed, it's been how many years since we got a Leprechaun movie? 2003 since we've got a Leprechaun movie. I'm not sure. They better hurry before Warwick Davis, something happens, because I don't think anybody could play this role. I mean, Warwick Davis is cut out for this role. He's made for the Leprechaun role. Now they have a chance to redeem themselves, and I think it could work. Maybe a Leprechaun remake. Let Warwick Davis play the Leprechaun. I mean, who else are you going to get to play the Leprechaun? Are you going to have a fucking CGI Leprechaun or like a doll? You can't do that. So you have to have a real person with real makeup and just looking as beast as he does in the movies. Despite the shittiness of Leprechaun 4, he still looks like a mean little bastard in the movies. He is in Part 3. I don't want to get into it, but Part 3 is awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But this movie, though, is just, it's bad. Now, let me read you the description on the back. On a planet in a distant galaxy, a power-hungry leprechaun holds a beautiful alien princess hostage in order to marry her for her royal title. When a platoon of Marines from Earth foils his scheme, the leprechaun wreaks havoc to reclaim his bride. Now, first of all, wasn't this plot done in Part 2 just a little bit different? It says he's trying to marry an alien princess for her royal title. Why is he always trying to marry people? Like in the movies in Part 2, that was the goal, to get that bride. This is a goal to get a bride in this one. Is the director that fucking stupid? I mean, listen, think of all the imaginative stuff you could do with a Leprechaun. Besides putting him in space, like, think of everything you could do with a Leprechaun. I could think of 5 sequels off the bat that I could do with a Leprechaun. I mean, yeah, it would take a little while, but it would take a little while to get all the details in there, but just with cool ideas in my head, I could think of 5 sequels. And he had to put Leprechaun in space. I wasn't a fan of when they put Jason in space either. I know some people like Jason X. I'm not one of those people, honestly, to be honest. I've never really cared for Jason X. It's just, don't put a horror icon in space. If any future directors out there who are going to try to bring the horror genre back to where it was, word of advice, get your notepad out, scribble some shit down. Don't put them in space. Don't put them in space. And don't put them in the Wild West. Okay? That's 2 rules. Don't do that. Warwick Davis wanted to put Leprechaun in the fucking Wild West. That was a bad idea, too. I'm glad that wasn't made, because that would be so stupid. That would just be idiotic. Don't put them in space. And despite the space aspect of the film, the acting was horrible. By Warwick Davis did good acting. I can't say he didn't. It's not his fault for the shitty lines he was given in the script that he had to read, and it's not his fault he couldn't completely turn the movie around with his performance alone, and to be honest, everybody else's acting was cheesy as hell. This movie is a cheese fest at best. This movie is just, it's terrible, and don't get me wrong, I love cheesy movies. I mean, every horror fan out there, you guys gotta be honest, cheesy movies are awesome. There are movies that are so bad that they just are good. This movie goes over the top, and it's over to the point of no fucking return, guys. It doesn't ever get good. It's just from start to finish. And I did not like the ending where he gets to be a big leprechaun. That shit saw it coming. But I mean, it's one hell of a movie. I'll tell you that. It's one of those movies that I would not purchase if I was not a completist. I wouldn't even get any of these 3 right here if I wasn't a completist. I didn't like any of these 3. So I know some people like Back in the Hood, or In the Hood and Back to the Hood. I didn't like those either. But Leprechaun 4 in space, what can I say? It's Leprechaun 4 in space. It's a shitty movie. It really is. It's just a shitty movie. I think that I'm trying to check the year. It's made in, man, this was made the year I was born. Wow, that's awesome. It was made in 97. Damn, so I gotta mark that down on the calendar of shitty movies that was made the year I was born. That's fantastic. There was a lot of good movies made that year, but this one, well, okay. So Leprechaun 4. I think everybody knows how I feel about this movie, and I think I know about half of the fucking population about how you guys feel about this movie. Comment below and tell me if you like this movie, because I'm really curious to hear about your insanity and why you like this movie. I can see if you're taking lithium or something that you might like this movie or find it enjoyable. Yeah, let's smoke some weed and watch Leprechaun 4. That might be enjoyable, possibly, because it would be a trip to see him in space. But unless you were high off your ass, you're not going to like Leprechaun 4. And if you are a horror fan, you're not going to like Leprechaun 4. A child who has never seen a horror film will watch this movie and still think it's stupid. I watched this movie when I was 9 years old, and I knew there was something wrong about this movie because I'd seen the other ones, and I know those were awesome, and this one it sucked. It just sucked. So, unless you're a completist, I would highly recommend avoiding this one. Get the first 3, okay? Get the first 3. I've talked shit about this movie, but the other 3 are really good. Unless you have to, unless you are a completist, unless something in your head is clicking, telling you to buy this movie, don't do it. If you've never seen it, it's not worth a rental. If you've got Netflix and you see it on Netflix and you just want to have a fun time with your friends and talk shit about a movie, just watch a movie and talk shit about it. That's the perfect time to watch this movie. That's all this is good for. It's not got replayability. It's got 0% replayability to me. I haven't watched this since I was 9. I haven't seen this since I was 9 years old, which is not, I mean, I'm usually prepped for the review. I watch the film before I review it. I will not watch this movie. I remember I regretfully remember most of it. So, yeah. Hopefully, if you were steered towards buying this movie, I have changed your opinion by the end of this video. Don't buy the movie. And for some reason, now I gotta add this in here. We're just going 10 minutes. Fuck it. Let's go a little bit longer. For some reason, this pack, this 3-pack, which I paid $7.50 for 3-4 years ago, maybe. No, was it 3 or 4 years ago? I'm 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. No, I got this film right when I started collecting, wasn't it? I'm trying to think of how many years ago I bought it. I bought it, like when I said I was like 9 or 10 years old. This pack was $7.50. Okay? Go online and look at this pack and tell me if you agree with the price. It's like $20-some online on Amazon. What the fuck? I mean, these 3 movies combined are worth $10. Why would it be that much? That's what I was like, well, I'm glad to have it, because if it's out of print somehow, I'm glad to have it, but shit, these movies are not worth that much. I mean, I just wouldn't pick these up, guys. I wouldn't pick these up unless you had to. But there is my review / rant on Leprechaun 4 in space. So, I think it's funny because after this one and after Jason X, how many more horror icons have we seen put in space? Tell me, because I haven't seen any. Every director watched this movie and was like, oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oh, shit. It just fucking bombed the box office. So, yeah, there is my review of Leprechaun 4. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Took a little bit away from it. I know I ranted quite a bit on this, and I am completely unprepared for this rant. So I might have said some things that were stupid or just didn't make sense, but you know what? 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it. So, and sorry for the language as well. It's been a long day at work. I'm going to be honest. It was a long day at work. It was a tiring day at work. A lot of busy people at work. Or not a lot of busy people. It was a busy time at work. But, well, everybody was busy at work because it was... Jesus, it was massive. So yeah, I'm just going on and on about this day, and I usually don't do this in my videos, so sorry guys if I'm boring you. Let's go ahead and end this video by saying thanks for watching. Comment below and tell me if you like this movie and why, because I really just like to get a kick out of it and hear why you like it. So tell me if you agree or disagree with this review. And, yeah, guys, go check out all the members and my second leader, All Random Things, on Late Night Frights. Go in here and subscribe to Late Night Frights. We'll go to our channel and subscribe if you haven't already, which you have. And then go to every one of the members and my second leader, All Random Things, and, or All Random Things, sorry, kind of speed talk there. And go subscribe. Subscribe to all of us. So, thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe, and as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.